Now, the former Liberal turned independent who's gone from outsider to serious contender in one of Labor's safest Western Sydney seats is going to join us. Now, you've got the cost of living, you've got obviously voters feeling ignored. Matt Camenzuli is taking the fight to Climate Change and Energy Minister Chris Bowen in the seat of McMahon. Some of the polls say Matt is in front. He joins us now. Let's hope the polls are accurate, Matt.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. I certainly hope so.
I spoke to you when you were back in local government and back when you had the Liberal colours attached to you. Why are you standing as an independent?
Look, I'm a bit over it. You know, that the entire political system at the moment seems to be built on career politicians who really, you know, aren't that interested in representing and far more interested in where they're headed next and what they're going to be doing with their future careers. And look, I think Australia's had enough of it. I certainly have as well. You know, I'm a businessman. I've been very, very blessed. I feel I can do something about it. So here I am.
Tell me, you know, you've got around the seat of McMahon, I imagine, over the last 3 or so weeks, a lot. What's the feeling coming from the community about Chris Bowen? When you ask people, why would you want to vote for Bowen, or do you just try and ignore him?
You know, so much of the community just comes across to me and speaks to me. And you know, I've had such a wonderful time talking to people, you know, from places like Greystanes, where I grew up, my home, and all the way around through to St Clair and into Blacktown, Toongabbie, Fairfield. And what I've found is there's a common concern, and it is that people don't feel heard and they don't feel represented. So, you know, that's really the problem. And we're seeing, you know, one of the worst cost increases in just the basics that I think anyone can really remember. So, you know, people are hurting, people are suffering, and they feel as though energy's a big part of it, and they feel as though, you know, all of that falls at the feet of Mr. Bowen. He can't really get away from that.
As a business person, I mean, you look at your power bills and it makes you go pale, doesn't it?
Mate, it really is insane. I mean, you know, the power bills are going up and up and up and up. I mean, there was supposed to be a 275 cost reduction, if I remember, from the last election. And not only that, now they're giving away rebates to try and, or, you know, grants to try and, you know, give people some relief. But it's not enough. And certainly businesses are suffering so much. I mean, I've seen power bills whilst I've been out and about from cafes and small businesses that are in the thousands of dollars. And you know, that's a lot of coffees. You know, it's a lot of work to make up that extra cost, and it's putting people's jobs at risk, and people know that. And you know, if you lose your local job, you might have to get in the car and pay even more fuel excise to get to the next one. People are not happy and they're suffering, and everybody can see it. So you know, I feel as though you know, there's a real mood for change.
Yeah, I know Sydney well. I mean, the people who have to come in from the west to the city to work, and, you know, it's fine for those people who can work from home in the eastern suburbs on a laptop. But if you're a tradie and you have to use the ute to get to work and back home again, you know, 5-6 days a week, the fuel excise is a major issue. I think that's a winner for the coalition. But you think you want to take that one step further, don't you?
I do. Look, I think, you know, if we're being really serious about giving people relief on the cost of, you know, just getting by and getting to work, you've got to make that fuel excise a permanent cut, and you've got to cut it completely in full. Because not only is it going to hit you when you're filling up your car, but it also is an input into the cost of everything. I mean, if you think about, you know, the people who are building houses, and every house that's built, and we are in a housing shortage, every home that's built that has so many tanks of fuel in so many utes, it's unbelievable. So it's a base input in the cost of everything, just like electricity. So if we're going to get serious about, you know, giving people proper relief and actually getting the cost of everything down, you know, the only way to do that is to get rid of this fuel excise. It's not even going into the roads anymore. I think it's a breach of faith with the Australian public. So, you know, I think it's time to get rid of it, and that's what I'd strongly advocate for doing.
Well, Matt, we've got a week to go to find out how the result is. You've got a 10% gap to close, so good luck with the campaign, and we'll keep a close watch on it on election night. Thanks for joining us on this Anzac Day.